Welcome back to another episode of Sisters Sisters.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this beautiful Thursday. We're actually
We-
recording on Tuesday, but
as you're listening to this, it's probably Thursday. And over this past weekend, we did something very fun. If you followed along on our Instagram stories, you saw we went to a state fair-esque thing that is in the Northeast called the Big E.
the Big E, it's the Eastern States Exposition. And yes, it's like a fair. It's near Springfield, Massachusetts. So like Western Massachusetts. And it is actually so fun. And we started going as kids, but a little bit about it. So it's kind of like a state fair meets like a history meets like a festival, I guess, all those things. There are state buildings for all of the New England states, which I'll talk about in a minute. They have an old historical village that you could tour. They have like classic fair food, fair rides, and then they have this giant building of Better Homes and Garden vibe. A lot of things, but we'll break down what we did there because it was so fun.
So our favorite always has been the state building. So each building in New England each state in New England has a building. And in that building is like food, merchandise, activities from that state. So for example, like Vermont has Ben and Jerry's because that's where they're from. Or like Maine has, randomly actually to me, baked potatoes. I guess Maine is known for baked potatoes.
Did you not? Oh, me and Mama Mouselet waited in the baked potato line for like 25 minutes and they had a million signs about it. Or like Connecticut, where we're from, has like an ice cream place called like J. Foster's, and they have like vendors and things from the States. And so those buildings are really fun because we'll always get some food and we'll get little tchotchkes. We actually bought like a bunch of random stuff. We got some candles. Those are definitely our favorite. And
My favorite, what's your favorite state to go into? Mine is Vermont.
Interesting.
I love
think
the
mine
Vermont
is
one.
Connecticut just because we're from Connecticut and it's special for me, even though arguably Connecticut is one of the worst state buildings. But
I thought it was good this year. It varies year to year.
It's just Connecticut's is more empty. They put too much outside.
Yeah, they do have a lot outside. But so that's our favorite part. But there also are the other parts. There is a whole part that's like rides and stuff. We personally don't really do that part. We do more the state buildings and the historical area.
The historical area, it was so funny. It's this little village. It's called what, Starroville Village or something like that. And it's been like pieced together from old buildings from like all across the state. Basically, this like woman built this village. It's very, very cool. We love history. Our family like loves stuff like that. So we're there. Mouselet C is there. And I'm like, oh, let's go up into like the church. And he goes to Mouselet 1, he goes, but didn't we already do this last year? And she said, yes. And he goes, but nothing changed. Guys, it's a historical village. Like, obviously nothing changed. He was like, my family would never, ever.
His family would be over in the food section, like the festival ride section. Although honestly, it is sort of similar to Disney. Like, yeah, nothing's changed, but like it's fun to experience it.
It's like going to a Swiss Family Treehouse. I'm like, nothing has changed. Nothing will ever change. But it's a must.
Well, something will probably change one day.
No,
with the Swiss Family Treehouse.
What are you implying? I don't think anything will change.
Okay.
What do you think is going to change? Do you think they're going to take it away?
I think at the 100th year,
I'll chain myself to the roots.
I think at the 100th year anniversary, you and I can reconnect and we'll see, is there still Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse?
100%.
100%.
What do you think they could put in that place?
Many other things.
Oh my God, what? It's like a standalone attraction. There's nothing
but they could change the treehouse theme like they did at Disneyland.
Why would they change the treehouse theme? Swiss Family, why would they do that?
All right, everybody, sound off in the comments. Mousel 2, don't shoot the messenger. It's not my fault if they change it. I just think they're going to.
Did you watch my YouTube video this week?
I watched part of it.
Did you watch where I started going on a tangent of like, what on earth is Disney World going to look like in 1,000 years?
No.
Oh, I was like, what is Disney World going to look like in 1,000 years? It's kind of a weird thing to think about. Glad I won't be around for it. Other things we did this weekend. We watched Elio. Finally. First time. It's the new Pixar movie. And what's your ranking out of 10?
It came to Disney Plus on September 17th. We've been excited to watch it. We watched it with Mama and Papa Mouselet and Mouselet C. I liked it. I thought it got better as the movie went on. And like by the end, I really liked it. The beginning part was more slow to me. I would probably give it like a 7.5.
I think I would give it like a 7.75. I guess for me, like it doesn't compare to like The Incredibles or Monsters Inc. for me, but of the new wave of like Pixar, I thought it was really, really good. I thought it was very well done. And I think like maybe the more I watch it, the more kind of like sentimental like value or whatever I'll give to it.
The messaging of it was really cute. Guys, I
Mouselet
will say
C loved it also.
Mouse C
He
gave
was
it
like
like
cracking up. He gave it like a 9 out of 10.
yeah.
Papa
Ma
Mouselet.
Papa Mouselet wasn't paying attention. Mama Mouselet, she does not do well with Pixar movies set in space. She's always like, "It's weird, it's weird." Like WALL-E. I'm like, "If you sat down and watched WALL-E, I
She
think you
doesn't
would
like
love it."
Wally.
No, she's like, "I don't get it. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird." I'm like, "It's not weird." I'm like, "You love Monsters Inc. Like, sit down and watch the movie and you'll like it." So after Elio, she said, "It's weird." I think she
She
gave it a
kept like
6,
looking at us during the movie, being like,
being like, "What is
"What's
this?"
this?" I was like, I thought it was really good. I have one hot take. Well, I guess I don't want to give spoilers, so maybe I shouldn't say it.
What? Okay, if you don't wanna hear Mouselet 2's spoiler
Skip.
hot
You
take,
can skip
skip.
30 seconds.
Okay.
I wish that Elio's aunt
Oh,
ended up being an astronaut. I
and I
just feel
keep
like it made sense. She was in space. It should have been like, now you have this space experience, become an astronaut. Huge miss.
it just wasn't the point. The point was her family.
Okay, I don't agree. So Elio was very, very good. When we were in Disney World, before we even saw Elio, we did this little activation where we got to like blast, or what was it? Transmit a
Beam.
beam,
Yeah.
beam a postcard full of stickers up to Elio, but the machine was broken. And so the cast member just like clicked a button and made like a wall light up and then like stamped it manually and was like, "You
It
did it."
worked.
We
Yeah.
were like,
It was, like, in
"Oh."
anti-gravities. It was clearly for, 3-year-olds,
Yeah.
and it was me and Mouselet 2 doing it with the cast member whose machine happened to be broken, and he therefore had to use this, like, manual thing, and we all just were like, "Okay, okay."
Okay, fun, 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 fun.
It was cute. It was cute for kids.
It was cute for kids. Okay, other things going on. Well, we have a cruise coming up. Too much to talk about with the cruise. Maybe we'll mention it in a minute, but I want to talk about dining reservations for our November trip because we have a Christmas trip and I just booked dining reservations.
Mouselet 2 did not even consult me on these, so I actually don't even know what we have booked.
We have Hoop-de-Doo Review because we're
I
staying
knew
at Fort
okay,
Wilderness
I did know that.
Campground.
I did know that one.
Oh, okay. And I booked Jolly Holidays for Jollywood. Those are the only things I booked.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
You sort of
we should.
hyped it up into something more. The Jolly
Well,
Holidays, I will say the Jolly Holidays at Jollywood was one of our, like, peaches
it's a
last year at
jolly
Jollywood.
holiday with you, Bert.
That was one of our peaches of the party last year. It was just, like, a really nice place to relax, to grab a little bite, grab a little drink. Yes?
It was our pit of the first party
It
because
was
the
all
first Jollywood
we
party,
didn't
the
get in
first
the
year,
first party.
we didn't get in, and then everyone was like roasting it. We should do a deep dive on Jollywood at some point. But it was our peach last year. It was so fun. It was just a vibe. Jollywood is what you make of it, and we make it fun. So I'm excited for that. And then I booked us Hoop-de-Doo Review. It's our second time going ever. Mouselet A has never been, so I'm excited for her to see it. We did
Has
the mid.
Mouselet C been? I don't think so.
Yeah,
Has
he came with the family that one time.
Oh, okay.
And he loved all the free food.
Oh, right.
And I had an amazing like gluten-free vegan strawberry shortcake dessert there. So I'm very
And if you
excited
don't
to
know
go
what
back.
Hoop-de-Doo Review is, it's a dinner show at Fort Wilderness Campground.
And it has a lot of cool lore. And we'll do a full review of it after we do it. But those are the dining reservations we booked. I guess we should probably book more. So maybe we'll have another update for you next week. But next week also we leave for our cruise. We're bringing the full family, except my partner Mouselet Egg. She doesn't want to come. She was invited. She just isn't a cruiser. And we're very, very, very excited.
So we leave the day that next week's episode releases is the day that we fly down, which is Thursday. And we're going to be staying one night at Saratoga Springs the night before in a 2-bedroom villa with our family. And then the next morning we'll go down to the cruise. We're cruising on the Wish. And basically right now there's not like that much you can do to prep for the cruise because you don't actually know like what nights things are happening until you get there. So we're mostly focusing on like figuring out our outfits, figuring out exactly what we're going to pack, and then we're going to be able to get on the cruise and enjoy.
That's one thing I don't love about the cruise is so I guess we do know that Pirates Night is Castaway Key. Well, I saw it in the Facebook group, so I don't remember which is which, but we know the night of Pirates Night and we know the night of the trick or treating night.
I guess
don't
you
remember
forgot
which
to
though.
tell me. You forgot to tell me that my phone must have been off.
Oh, shoot. Darn. Well, I'll have to double check what those nights are because I don't remember. But I do wish we knew what dining we were doing. Like, are we doing Marvel on Pirates Night? Like, I wish we knew that information. Okay, I don't want to talk about the cruise too much because we're going to talk about it all next week. But you're of the which restaurants? Marvel, Arendelle, and Walton Roy. What's the ideal order for you to start and end?
My favorite is also, isn't that restaurant called 1923?
Sure, it's one and the same.
Okay.
There's Walton Roy banners. No, not your favorite,
I
just
know,
the
I know.
order.
I know, I'm thinking. Probably like Marvel, Arendelle, 1923.
Mine's Arendelle Marvel 1923. Start with the worst, then go to a little more peaceful one, and then end. We've always ended at 1923.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, I have to end there. If we start there, it'll all
Well,
be
maybe
thrown
it'll be
off.
good. Maybe it'll be good trying something new.
Maybe. All right. Speaking of new, let's get into some news.
And that's what you missed on Glee.
Oh, another week of almost no news.
So instead, we did a little roundup for you guys where if you're planning a trip this fall, here are some things that you need to know from ride closures to just kind of like what's going on in the parks at the moment.
I'll start. I feel like a big one, an obvious one, is there are lots of Halloween parties. Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. This is Disney World specific. There are Oogie Boogie Bash too at Disneyland. But there's a lot of parties in October. A lot of times they fall on a Sunday, a Tuesday, a Thursday, and a Friday. It's not every Friday. It kind of varies, but there are a lot of dates. And the biggest thing you need to watch out with that parties at Magic Kingdom is the fact that the park is going to close to all regular guests around 6 p.m. and you can get in for the party around 4 p.m. And so if you're going to go to Magic Kingdom that day, either, have a park hopper or probably don't go to Magic that day unless you want to have only like a partial day there.
Okay, next up is the Food and Wine Festival is the current festival at Epcot. This is their longest festival. So it already started back in August and it goes through November 22nd. Weekends for this festival are very busy. And I will say something to note about those dates. A lot of people, including us in the past, have tried to plan a trip that goes over the very end of Halloween into the very beginning of Christmas because Disney typically does the change around like November 2nd. But Christmas at Epcot does not start until after November 22nd because it is Food and Wine, which I really wish I don't love that they do that personally.
I also don't love that they do that, specifically because I would rather celebrate the Christmas, like the holidays, longer. And I feel like Food and Wine is long enough. And I feel like by the end of it, I'm like, okay, I don't get why they do that actually.
Like there's such limited weekends between Thanksgiving and Christmas that it's hard for us to plan a trip down in December. We prefer to do our Christmas trip in November
Remember.
pre-Thanksgiving, but then you never get to experience the holidays at Epcot. So just something to keep in mind if you're trying to do a holiday trip.
Other things going on for kind of this fall, Halloween Dine at Hollywood and Vine. This is a Halloween lunch/dinner event. Basically, if you go to that restaurant for lunch and dinner, they're going to be characters in Halloween costumes. We did that actually in October of 2020 when we went to Disney right smack in the middle of COVID. Mouse the one got COVID after it. It was a totally different experience there because we were so spaced apart from people. I remember not really enjoying it that much.
I think that
I like the characters
are fun. The food itself wasn't that great, but also this was 5 years ago, so I have no idea what it's
I'm
like
curious
now.
to hear, sound off in the comments, or like wherever you're listening to this, you can probably comment on YouTube, so you can go over there. But just let us know. I'm curious if people like that, if we should give it another shot in general, Hollywood and Vine. I guess we'll probably go once the baby is born because we'll bring them to the Disney Junior breakfast.
Disney Junior, that's true. And we've never done Hollywood and Vine not during that Halloween event.
We've only done it once.
That
One and
that one
done.
time. Yep.
We've never been back. So if that tells you anything about it, that's what you need to know.
At Disney Springs, they're doing something called Fall into Magic. I have heard amazing things about the overlay at Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar.
Me
So
too.
Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar is a bar at Disney Springs. It does have ties to SEA, to the Society of Explorers and Adventurers, if you're into that. But they're doing a Halloween overlay with special custom food and drinks. They're really cool. They're super intricate. I've heard everything is really, really good and it's absolutely worth seeing. So if you're a Disney Springs person, check that out. They also have other stuff for Fall into Magic at Amorette's and the Ganachery. There's themed merch. So it's sort of a whole little mini overlay going on over there.
Yeah. We haven't actually been to Disney Springs for Halloween. We don't go there often, but we are starting to go a little bit more. So something that maybe we'll try, not this year, but maybe next. Okay, current ride closures. There are a fair amount of things actually that are closed kind of like this fall and into next year. So Thunder Mountain is closed. It's been closed for a while. It'll reopen sometime in 2026, to be determined when. Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin is closed. RIP, devastated. We didn't even know the day that it closed. Ridiculous. It
And it's
reopens
one of our favorite rides. So
literally. Like, wait, what? It reopens in 2026. I'll do the Magic Kingdom ones. And then the Frontierland Walt Disney World Railroad Station, that is closed. And so right now the train is just basically shuttling between, I almost said Toontown. Whoa. Storybook Circus and Main Street. Weird, weird, weird. Okay.
I will say in the category of not that much news happening, I did see someone took like some aerial photos of them like moving the track to start to prepare for the expansion back in Frontierland. Okay, other things that are closed. Spaceship Earth is closed August 25th. No reopening date announced yet. This is just a refresh. It's not like a big, don't get too excited. It's not like a big change happening.
Yeah.
Animation Courtyard is closing September 25th.
2 days.
Coming up. Yeah, 2 days coming up very soon. Disney Juniors closing September 25th. The launch bay closed permanently. All of that is preparing for the new animation courtyard that they announced, which we are extremely, extremely excited
So
for.
excited about. You missed Rock and Roller Coaster, but that one's open all year, but it will close next year, so get your last rides in while it's still Aerosmith themed. And then over at Animal Kingdom, Cali River Rapids, that closes on October 6th through December 2025. No specific date in December announced. That's just like their seasonal refurbishment. They pretty much always do that.
I'm shocked that it's even going to open in December. They usually keep it closed all winter when it's cold. I guess they need rides over there right now.
Yeah, they're Desperado the Mouse. And this gets into one of our listener questions later. So I'm excited to answer that one. And the Dinosaur, Restaurantosaurus, our new favorite little Dino Bites ice cream place that we tried once and now we'll probably never go to again. Those close February 2nd.
So get in your last rides. In terms of the weather, if you're looking for a weather report, go
It
ahead.
all depends on the weather.
It varies a ton this time of year. So it can be hot and humid. It can be cool and rainy, but be prepared for rain. It is still hurricane season down in Florida. We're hoping that that doesn't impact our cruise, but we'll see.
Knock on wood now.
Knock on
Did
wood.
you do it?
Yep. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Getting into our main topic.
I'm
for
excited
today.
about this. When we were talking about what to do for a main topic, I had an idea because I had a lot of things that I thought we could talk about. And I was like, oh, can't talk about that. Mouselet one will be like, no. Can't talk about that. Mouselet one will be like, no. The topic today is 5 things that the other person wouldn't care about. They're things that we would love to do a topic on that the other one wouldn't care at all, probably. And we don't know what the other ones are. We have secret lists. So,
Why don't you start with one of yours?
okay. Vegetarian food. I'm a vegetarian. I'm actually a pescatarian, but I've really limited my fish intake. I also eat a lot of vegan foods because I have a major dairy intolerance. So I am always looking for the best like vegetarian spots. And Bessa one's actually pretty patient with it. She'll come to some of the spots. But here are some of my favorites. Anywhere in Morocco at Epcot. Currently, there's very little open, but any
Well,
Moroccan...
Did you see that they finally changed the menu in Tangerine Cafe? So guys, they did. This
Did
is
you?
big
Because
news.
someone posted that on TikTok and I messaged and I said I was so excited and then they messaged me and said, sorry, that was wrong. I'm taking my post down.
No, they changed it. So Tangerine Cafe, which used to be the actual quick service in Morocco, when they closed the Morocco Pavilion, they basically turned it into like a festival stand. And every single festival, it serves the same 2 things. Both
Stone
of
bread.
them- Stone bread, which is really good and we almost always get.
And
then
it's like a lamb kebab, right?
a lamb kebab or something.
Yeah.
Every festival is the same. But no, I'm like 99% sure that for Food and Wine, they finally changed out the menu of that restaurant.
Oh, sorry, for Food and Wine. So it's just
Well,
different
yes.
festival food.
But
Sorry,
okay.
I thought you were saying Tangerine Cafe reopened, which is my
No,
favorite
no,
spot
no,
on
no.
property. Okay, no, Spice Road Table though. Mouselet one went to me. We have a fun story about a mimosa. We might have told that on the podcast before. I can't remember. Did we?
I don't think so.
I ordered a... What's the thing I like?
Oh no, I think we did. You tried to order a sangria. You thought
Yeah, that.
You
I
ordered
think
a
we killed it very
sangria.
early. And I actually ordered a bunch of mimosas. Other than that, though, it was really good. So, number 1, anything in Morocco for vegetarian food is so good. Number 2, so Mouselet A's sister and brother-in-law are like primarily vegetarian, vegan-ish. And we were talking about places to eat, and Mouselet A was like, "Oh, Garden Grill," and I was like, "Ooh, yes!" Like I love the cookie loaf there because they have this amazing thing that I call the cookie loaf.
Mouselet's lore.
The cookie loaf is just like a vegetable loaf. It's actually the main course. They have like peas, carrots, corn, and the cookie loaf. It is a vegetable loaf of some sort, but it tastes like a cookie, and it's
which
so
honestly sounds terrible for a meal.
no. It's amazing. And I call it I would never recommend it to anyone else in case they don't like the cookie loaf.
Other than, of course, Mouselet's sister and brother-in-law, but
Oh, wait, what? So, well, I would recommend, if you're listening to this and you're a vegetarian and you feel like giving it a shot, the cookie loaf there is so good. Again, it is not actually a cookie. It's just like a main course, but it tastes like a cookie. So that's my next one. And then my last one is it's kind of a list. Sanaa, Tiffin's, Boma, Jiko, basically anything like Animal Kingdom type vibes. Such a good type of cuisine that I cannot eat anywhere near me because everything near me is basically Italian. Very slim pickings, and I just love like I guess I really like Indian food, but a lot of those are like African type flavors, and I just think they're so good. They have really good vegetarian stuff, so highly recommend.
I will say a lot of these places also have, for the most part, almost all of them have very good non-vegetarian food
Which
as
one doesn't?
well. No, they all do. I just
You're gonna
remember
say
that
Spice Road
Sanaa,
Table.
no, Sanaa
Oh,
Sanaa and Spicer Table both are slightly out of my personal palate range and therefore not my
because
favorites.
you're a not a picky eater, but a particular
Particular
eater.
eater.
Okay.
Exactly. I am a particular eater. Speaking of food, perfect segue into mine, which is steakhouses. So, my favorite food is steak. I had steak for dinner tonight. And I never get to go to steakhouses at Disney almost.
I've told you I would go to Le Cellier. They
No,
have a
you haven't.
mushrooms thing or something.
You did not want to go last time I wanted to
I
go.
just said if you're going to go and I'm not there, you might as well. Anytime I'm not there should be the time you go to a steakhouse, which you generally have done. You went to Yachtsman last year. I assume that's
Yes.
on your list.
So,
Fine.
yes, it is. So, we rarely get to go because it just doesn't really make sense for Mouselet 2, whatever. But one of my favorite steakhouses is Le Cellier. Do you know the first time that I ate at Le Cellier?
By yourself before in
By
October
myself.
2020, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
When I got in October 2020, once again, the trip that I got COVID on. So,
Mouselets more.
but I, for some reason, got there like the evening before Mouselet
There's
2.
flights. There were like no
Yeah,
airplanes
there
were
were.
flying.
Oh, right, because it was literally the middle of the
This is
pandemic. Yes.
literally in the middle of a pandemic.
And so let's not talk
James.
about why we went, guys. Mouselet 2 bullied me into going. Anyways,
I was going to go without you. You bullied yourself into going because you didn't want to miss out.
I went to Le Cellier alone like the night before, and it was amazing. I love Le Cellier. It's one of my favorites. It's really good. They're known for their, what's it called? French onion soup, right? I don't actually eat French onion soup, but I
There's
know that,
something called that. I didn't know they were known for that. I've never
yes,
been.
they're known for that. And their steak, it's such a vibe. I will say the one thing is it's like a little bit loud in there. And so,
Ooh, sounds like a place I would not like at all.
no, I love it though. And then recently, Mouselet 2 left like a day before us or something, and me and Mouselet C were able to go to dinner. I wanted to go to Le Cellier, but another steakhouse that I've heard is amazing is Yachtsman, which is at the Yacht and Beach Club. And so we decided to try that instead. It was also so, so good. Definitely like, because it's not in a park, a little bit more of like an upscale vibe, which was actually really nice. It was amazing.
What about the one at Swan and Dolphin? I feel like everyone always hypes that one up.
Oh, yeah. What's that one called? It starts with an M.
I have no idea, but
Ugh.
people talk about that one a lot. People
People
always
do.
recommending that.
And then the best steak that I have like ever had, which it wasn't on the menu, but for the 50th anniversary menu at California Grill, they had a filet and it was so good. So anyways, those are my
Great.
favorites. Those are my faves.
Okay, next up, another thing that Mouselet 1 would never ever want to do a segment on. Mouselet C and Mouselet A might, though, are my favorite and my least favorite gyms at Disney. I really like to work out in general. I enjoy working out. I find that it makes me bring some endorphins up. And also, I sleep a lot better if I work out. If I don't work out, I have a harder time falling asleep. And I can fall asleep in like probably like 3 or 4 minutes. And so you're breathing very loudly. Please stop breathing so loudly. Okay. My favorite gyms. Number 1. This is my favorite. The Polynesian Island Tower. It's a new gym. We just got to go and when we stayed there and I loved it. We went with Mouselet. Me and Mouselet A went like multiple times. It has like the most impeccable vibes. It's new. It's so bright. There's these huge windows. I was like, if my basement could look like this, which it can't because it's literally a basement underground.
Which
oh
it
my God.
certainly can't, yeah, but
Never, ever could. It would be the best workout of my life. Like if I could go to that gym every day, I would have the best workout of my life. So that gym is number 1. Number 2 is Saratoga Springs. Saratoga Springs, please stop breathing so loudly. Saratoga Springs, your nose is like a high-pitched bell whistle.
there's truly nothing I can do. So
Mute
close your
yourself, hold
ears.
your breath, whatever needs to be done. Saratoga Springs, guys, let me just say, I have a disease that I literally can't like listen to snoring and breathing and people chewing cereal. And what? You mute yourself?
The
Suddenly
sound
your
is
bell
muted.
whistle stopped. I have a disease that I cannot listen to sounds like that. So that's why I'm going to have to keep mentioning it. Saratoga Springs originally was like a different hotel. We'll do a whole thing on it, but it was called the Disney Institute, whatever. So they built this giant gym and then it changed into Saratoga Springs. So the Saratoga Springs gym is huge. It's not that new, but it's giant. So that's my second favorite gym. And my third, did you go in that one just to
I
see it?
did. Yeah,
It's big.
it's huge. It's huge.
And my third favorite gym, I was like, actually, I don't think I have one. And then I was like, oh, I do. The Dolphin. The Dolphin Resort, which is like Disney adjacent, has a really good gym. Me and Mouselets love that gym. Honorable mention, the Disneyland Hotel gym and Grand Casino Tower. My least favorite gyms, the Beach Club gym. Awful, awful, awful. They stole half of it when they did the Beaches and Cream expansion. Outrageous that they would take half of a gym to build an ice cream parlor.
They don't care.
James. Oh, it's so small, and mostly there's not a singular spot to do like free weights except this little weird diagonal corner. Just too small. I don't really like that gym at all, and I think it's a huge downside of that resort. Next up, oh, the Contemporary. The Contemporary gym has such low ceilings that if I try to do like an overhead press, my hand punches the ceiling. It's like crazy. It's on like the third floor. Also, like the escalators don't go there. Didn't really enjoy that gym. And then I guess my other least favorite, like I think that the Boulder Ridge gym and Animal Kingdom Lodge gyms need to be updated. They're a little outdated. They're a little tired. Those are my faves. Those are my least faves. Any thoughts? You didn't say anything during it even once.
I have no thoughts.
Oh,
I will move on to my things. So something that Mouselet 2 does not care about, actually actively dislikes, is that I like to lay out at the pool and tan. And Mouselet 2 does not enjoy that at all. And so these are some of my favorite pools to tan at. You can probably kind of guess what some of them are going to be, but number one is probably the dolphin pool. The dolphin pool in general is a really underrated pool. It's huge. It's so big.
it's like a pool complex.
Yeah, it's
There's
literally
like
like a
multiple
complex.
different pools. It's so good.
All attached. There's so many different places that you can like lay out. And over by the waterfall area, it can get like a little bit busier, but for the most part, it typically isn't really that busy, which is ideal for me. So nice to be able to lay out. I love that pool. That's probably my number one.
I love to
think
swim in that pool. I like to go down the water side of that pool. We all took a nap recently in that pool, and I had to go find a chair on the other side of the pool to nap in the shade.
and I, of course, was napping in the sun.
Mm.
Potentially one of my next favorite pool is, this is only if it's not too hot, but is the Target pool at the Contemporary. Again, it's one of our favorite pools, but it's really unique because it's basically on a dock on the lake. So you're like on the lake, which is
It's
really
amazing.
cool. So relaxing. There's a breeze. The issue is if it's really hot, there's not that many umbrellas there, but I don't want that because I want to be tanning.
But it was way too hot when we were there in August.
We were there in August. So, I mean, it was very, very hot, but normally
Excruciating.
it's so serene out there, which I love. And then my third one, I don't know if you'd be able to guess my third one. I feel like it's like a little bit random.
Boulder Ridge?
And yes, it's Boulder Ridge. Because Boulder Ridge is very big, typically not that crowded, and it's just a very nice, once again, like relaxing. A relaxing
And that one
vibe.
feels adult vibe because
Yes.
like when you go to one of the pools, oh no, the end of an era, enjoy, you'll never get this again because you'll have a baby to watch. The kids pools when they have kids activities, very, very fun for kids, but they get a little crazy because they're like kids everywhere. These pools were a little more adult vibes.
Yes. Another one that I actually just thought of during this conversation,
Oh.
the pool at Riviera, the like square pool at Riviera is also very adult vibes. I
It's
like
a
the other pools.
literal adult only pool.
Yes.
You'll
like
never
the
go
other
in
pool-
again.
I like the other pools more than that one, but that one would be a good one as well. So those
I
are my
thought that you
favorite
were going to
pools
throw a
tan at.
wild card and say the adult deck of the Wish and the Treasure for Disney Cruise Line
Oh,
because that's
well,
a good spot too.
I
thought
mean,
you were going to say because we're about
that's
to
an
go on a
amazing
cruise.
spot. The absolute worst one to tan at is the Polynesian pool. It is the most chaotic, insane, cramped pool ever.
Yeah, I was in a hot tub with like 18 people. I'm not even joking. I'll tell the story another time. Okay, my next one. Road facts.
Boo.
When
Is there
we're
a booing
driving
noise?
sometimes, there's not a boo noise. When we're driving sometimes, I like to say to Mouselet and Mouselet one, do you want to hear some road facts?
And I say, no, thank you. No, thank you.
I'm a civil engineer specifically specializing in roads. Okay. I design roads. I do traffic lights. I like bridges, like sidewalks, for like giant projects though, like pretty big projects. But sometimes I get to kind of like hyper focus and specialize in something. And one of those things that I got to do in the state of Massachusetts was signs. Okay. I'm specifically referring to what is called a guide sign. A guide sign are the overhead signs that you see when you're driving down a road that are giant and green, and they usually tell you the exit numbers and things, and they're on like interstate highways, freeways, things like that. Okay. First fact about those, just generally, is do you know how big, and Mouse One should know this, do you know about how tall those signs might be? Everyone who's thinking about this, if you're driving on the road, look at those signs. How tall do you think those signs are? How wide?
Okay, well,
Guess.
the height is like 20 feet or something
Yeah, they can be like
outrageous.
20 feet. They're very, very tall.
Guys, I of course know that because Mouselet 2 has told me, I'm sure, a million times.
So the font of the exit number in like the top right, that's 15 inches. That's 15 inches tall. Okay. Anyway, and so all of these signs have standards that the entire United States of America has to conform to from something called the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices, the MUTCD. Okay. And the MUTCD specifies different colors that signs can be. For example, the big signs that show destinations and your exits, those have to be green. Or like a service plaza sign, those are like a darker blue. Or like a historical type attraction, those are brown. Yellow signs are warning signs. There's all these specific colors. Okay, that gets into the fact that when Walt Disney World opened, they pretty much conformed to those colors. So for the Walt Disney World sign, instead of the big gate thing that they have now, it was just a brown sign that said Walt Disney World, because that was the color of signs that you would have back then and on every other road. Even though the Disney roads are private, that's what they did. Since then, Disney has really developed their signs, and they made them the purple, the blue, and or the purple, the red, and the yellow. Those are not standard MUTCD colors. Those are allowed by Disney because they're on private roads, so they don't have to conform to certain guidelines. That being said, they do conform to some guidelines like retro reflectivity, meaning is the sign reflective, or like they don't do a black sign, for example, because it'd be really hard to see like certain times of day. They are now changing a lot of the signs, to my chagrin, to blue, which I don't really like that much because it doesn't make sense. It has nothing to do with Disney. If they were going to do that, they may as well just do a green guide sign. And they're also making them, some of them, like a digital like matrix type board that's like full colors. They're making some digital signs, which is like a new thing that they can change destinations on. Whatever. You didn't chime in again. I'm confused.
I like the blue sign change. I think it's fine. They started doing it for the 50th, so it made more sense then because it was like blue and gold. Those are the 50th colors. But I like it. To me, it's very like modern, magical. The old ones were very 90s.
But the thing is, blue has a specific meaning. So it's just like purple doesn't have a meaning. Blue has a meaning. So now they're just like doing something that's like conflicting. I'm like, is this a service plaza?
Nobody's confused, luckily, is the thing.
Well, I don't know about that.
Okay, so something that Mouselet 2 does not care about, that I care about, that I think is a fun thing that other people could adopt, is that I collect character autographs. So I love to collect things, but I actually don't really, I prefer that my house is not filled with like stuff. Tchotchkes. Mouselet 2 and I try and be very intentional about the merch that we buy. We are pin collectors, and we both do have many pairs of ears. But other than that, I really only buy things if I like truly, truly, truly love them. And so I don't really want to start another like collection of Disney stuff.
Also,
But
just because like to chime in, yes, because we don't have that much space in our homes. Like we do have space in our homes, but we have a lot of other things that we like. So kind of like for both of us, our offices, my office, her office, we're both in those right now. If you're watching on YouTube or Patreon for video, that's kind of where we show a lot of our Disney stuff. And I have some in my basement too. But for the most part, other than that, we have a lot of other things we like too. So to have like hypothetically, I don't know, like 100 Funko Pops would just like not work in our specific homes. Continue.
so instead, I like to collect character autographs because it's still collecting something, but it's really not like a physical thing that's taking up space. So I have one autograph book, and I only get each character's, or I try to only get each character's autograph one time in that book. I have accidentally gotten a couple twice. I have Rapunzel twice, and I have Eeyore twice randomly. But each time, so then whenever I meet like a new character, it's so exciting to be like, oh my God, I don't think I have them in my book.
She
And I
just
get to
got
add them.
Star-Lord? Is that his name?
Yeah, Star-Lord, because he was in Epcot.
Yeah,
That was a good
like
one.
the newest one I think you got.
Yeah, I can't remember who else. That was definitely the newest one. But so my book is actually almost full. And so I have to decide do I start a new book, and do I start from the beginning, or do I just add on? What do you think?
It is, well, I guess here's the other thing. You're going to have a baby who's going to meet characters. So it might be fun to start again and do all the characters you meet with your baby and then all the rare characters that you see. At this point, there's not that many other rare characters. You'll see a few, like character paloozas, like Mr. Penguin, those ones. But with the baby, it might be fun to be like baby's first autographs.
That's true. Anyways, I highly recommend if you've gone to Disney a lot, it's fun. And it's also a good way to
A good
keep track of
icebreaker.
like, yeah,
Oh.
but it's also a good way to keep track of like which characters you've met. Like sometimes we're like, have we seen them before? Have we met them before? But then when I forget my autograph book, it's devastating.
It is devastating. And you've had multiple times. Okay, my next one is Star Wars related. Mouselets doesn't really care about Star Wars, but I did a full deep dive on this on YouTube. Little plug for that video because I did a lot of research, but which I'm not going to get into 90% of that now. Probably like most of it I won't get into. But Batu, Galaxy's Edge. Batu is a planet in the outer rim, and Disney made up that planet. It's featured in a book that I read. Actually, the book is really good. So if anyone wants to read it, I'll send you a pic of the cover or something. But Batu was not the original plan. They weren't originally planning on making the planet of Batu or Galaxy's Edge, whatever. They planned to make Tatooine, and Tatooine is the like the location of episode 4, which is like the original. If you're not a Star Wars person, it's too much to explain. But if you are, you know what I'm talking about. Tatooine was going to be the original land, and that made a lot of sense because Tatooine is like the most iconic Star Wars place, and they were actually going to put it over by Star Tours, Backlot Express, Indiana Jones show, kind of over by like Echo Lake area. That was going to become Tatooine, and they were going to have a couple of different rides. One would be like Star Tours would remain, and there would be like kind of flying type ride. But eventually they decided to kind of like pivot, and that was not really the choice of the Imagineers working at it because they were really like all in on Tatooine. It was actually the Disney Corporation, like senior executives who had seen a taste of episode 7, a little look at the new Disney version of the movies, and they were like, "Oh, we have to tell these stories." From a business perspective, it makes sense to tell the stories that they can continue adding to have those characters in, the Mandalorian, Kylo Ren, all that. But it would have been cool to have Tatooine, and I kind of wish, and I know you don't, but I kind of wish that Disney World did what Universal does with Harry Potter, that they added Star Wars to another park too.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad they didn't do that. No, no, no. We
I
have
don't
enough
think they have
Star
another
Wars.
park to do it to, but I think it'd be cool. Or they should add another land to Hollywood Studios.
I think as a non-Star Wars person, it makes sense to me that they want to be able to always promote, to have the flexibility to promote whatever, which Batu in theory allows.
Because
Because
Batu
it's
could
like,
technically be set in any time. Like if they wanted to, they could say like, I guess Tatooine could too, but like they could take Kylo Ren out and have Darth Vader come there. They won't do that. Although like, why is Luke Skywalker in? I don't like that he's in Batu at Disneyland.
I like it. Although, guys, the wig that they have on Luke, if you haven't seen Luke
Ellen
Skywalker
DeGeneres.
and his wig,
It's tough.
you need to look
No
it up.
hate to the character, the performer. They're doing a
No,
great
no,
job.
it's just the wig that they gave.
It's the wig.
him. Yes,
the wig is, yeah.
Okay,
right,
my other Star
viewers,
Wars
yep.
take. Well, hang on. My other Star Wars take. Bye Star Tours. It has to go. I understand.
Unfortunately,
I understand as like a Hollywood Studios person, like I understand why it's not in Galaxy's Edge, which is that Star Tours is meant to be like the movie set version of Star Wars. If you look
outside of it is, but
Yeah,
the
the
inside
outside.
is not. The inside is
Well, yeah,
like themed, like it's like a tourist attraction, but it's not like canon. It's like, oh hey, you're getting on this thing. Like that's not a real thing you can do in Star Wars. So like it was a great ride for the time. I do like it, but like
there's enough Star Wars in that park that's so immersive and so good. Star Tours, and it like I think it confuses people as to why it's not
does
in
confuse
Galaxy's
people.
Edge. Because it is confusing.
It's like too much for most people to be like, wait, what? Like it doesn't make sense. I'd be sad to see it go, so I'm not gonna say I want it gone, but like if they took it away, I'd be like, I get it.
Yeah, okay, bye. Okay, my next one, very related note, Mouselet 2 doesn't care about Marvel.
That's true.
And I do care about Marvel. And so this is another thing that we did a YouTube deep dive on. But very briefly, let's talk about why we do and don't have certain Marvel things at Disney, which is that Avengers Campus is the main one. So Avengers Campus is at Disneyland, and it is at Disneyland Paris. We will not ever get an Avengers Campus.
I think you need to back up for the people who aren't Marvel. Like I tried to explain Star Wars is like talk about what Avengers is and like Disney versus like adapting the comic books.
Okay. I'm about to. So
great. Get into it.
Disney bought Marvel, and Marvel has lots of different comics within it. And those comic book characters are typically associated into what they refer to as like families. So, like, the Avengers is a group of comic book characters, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Hulk, etc., and they're part of the Avengers family. Another example of a family is Guardians of the Galaxy. So that includes Star-Lord and Gamora, etc. Anyways, before Disney owned Marvel, Marvel split the rights to their characters, the theme park rights to their characters, down the Mississippi River. So there was the east side of the Mississippi River rights and the west side of the Mississippi River rights, and they sold them both to Universal Studios.
The
But
theme park rights.
the theme park rights. But the clause was that Universal only got the theme park rights on the coast where they actually used them. So in Islands of Adventure, they built Marvel Superhero Island. They used them, and so they retained the rights. But they never did that on the West Coast. So when Disney bought Marvel, they were able to get the rights back, and that's why we have Avengers Campus out there. However, the rights were broken by family. So Universal only retains the rights to the characters in the family that they used. So that's why there can be no Avengers on the East Coast, because the Avengers are all over Universal Islands of Adventure, like, again, Hulk, Spider-Man, etc. But
When did Disney buy the theme park rights? Or sorry, not the movie rights?
the first movie was in probably like 2010.
Like, did Universal fight them to the death for that or no? Feels like a
No.
big lost opportunity. I'm confused because
Yeah.
they fought for Star Wars and Harry Potter.
No, because Disney owned Marvel.
But
So I
they
don't
didn't
think-
always own Marvel.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know, actually.
Great, we'll answer it next time. I'm very curious. So
But so that is why we can have Guardians of the Galaxy in Florida, because there's no Guardians of the Galaxy characters at Universal. However, one other interesting thing is that the name Marvel, the rights to the name Marvel was not split by coast. So Disney, even though they own Marvel, is not allowed to use the word marble in any of their theme parks in the US. That's why it's called Avengers Campus, even though a lot of the characters that appear in Avengers Campus are not Avengers. They can't call it like Marvel Campus. They can't use Marvel anywhere. The only place they can use Marvel is in Disney Springs because it's like a store.
Doctor Strange appeared at Jollywood Nights last year.
That was very interesting because in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, one would consider Doctor Strange to be an Avenger probably, but the rights are based on the comic books. And in the comic books, Doctor Strange is part of a different family that I don't even know the name of because it doesn't exist in the MCU. But so I guess it's
The
like a loop.
MCU.
Everybody who's a Marvel fan knows what that is, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But I guess it was like a loophole, and Doctor Strange was allowed to be there. But he only appeared that like one just during Jollywood. It was
I
very
feel like
interesting.
Disney was kind of like,
Yeah, they were like, let's see,
let's try it.
test it
anyone-
out.
Should we? Okay.
But
yeah.
as the multiverse is expanding, there's so many new families coming in, and so many new things that they could build. So I really hope that they do.
I think that Universal will get rid of Superhero Island soon, just because
and they should.
it's dated and they now have more IP and more stories to tell. And I think like they're functionally promoting Disney's movies. If you think about it, like it's a comics, but like, I just think
Also, like at this point, when people think of Spider-Man, they think of Tom Holland's Spider-Man. But Marvel Superhero Island is using like a really old comic book version of
I
Spider-Man.
bet
It's
actually
just
so
like,
many people will disagree. Spider-Man was probably the worst example because I feel like people have hot takes about Spider-Man.
okay, when
but
people think of Iron Man, they think of Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man.
there you go.
There we go.
DC Comics, Six Flags has the theme park rights to that, just so everyone knows.
Yep.
Find that interesting. Okay, my last one. Very random. Just a pivot back to food. Breakfast spots. That's the last thing. I feel like Mouse One actually would have done a thing about this. I was having a hard time thinking of fifth one because we really have a lot of the same interests. But Mouse One doesn't actually eat breakfast, although now maybe with the baby.
Now that
you
I'm
do.
pregnant, I do, but in typical times, I do not eat breakfast.
And Mouselets C doesn't really, they're not big breakfast people. So I have to have breakfast. I eat so early that like I
She's
get
actually a maniac about eating breakfast.
I've gotten better.
Eh,
No, I
Good.
have. I have gotten better. I wake up around 5:03 every single morning, specifically at 5:03, and I eat breakfast around 5:30. And so even when I'm on vacation, right, if I wake up at like 6:30, we eat at like 9, like I'm eating like 4 hours after I usually do. And so I just feel like starving and ravenous, and I get very hangry. And so I always need to grab breakfast, and I feel like I've gotten pretty good at just like grabbing something quick. But a couple of my favorite spots. Weirdly, the Roaring Fork at Wilderness Lodge
You
has
do
made
love
my
the Roaring Fork,
I
which is
like
so
I
random.
feel like we've stayed at Wilderness
It's
Lodge
so
a lot,
meh.
and I've gotten a lot of breakfast. I just know it. I love it. So it's a good spot.
It's
Um,
meh. It's meh, everybody. Don't get too excited.
I know I think it's pretty good. I like the Contempo Cafe tofu bowl also, but it just takes too long. That's why it didn't make my list. Next up, I know someone will agree with this one. The Grand Floridian has Gasparilla Island, and they have a custom build your own acai or oatmeal or chia seed pudding or something bowl. It's so good. You can
It's
get
amazing. It's only there until like 11 a.m. I feel like nobody knows about it.
You can't
It's
mobile order it.
amazing.
You don't have to be a guest, but you can't mobile order it and you can't park there. So you have to like walk from Magic Kingdom, take the boat, whatever. But it is so good. So that one is obviously on my list.
It's about 1,000 times better than Roaring Fork.
Oh no, they're different. They're different. And my last one, I know Mouse one will agree with this too. The overnight oats at Sunshine Seasons, which actually now have expanded to other places as well. I think we just had one from the All Stars, maybe.
Yeah? Was it the All Stars?
Where's the Contempo Cafe?
No, it's Contempo Cafe.
Oh, well, the overnight oats from Sunshine Seasons, which is the bottom of the land at Epcot, so good. Those are my favorite breakfast spots.
Okay, well, my last one is also one that Mouselets does sort of care about, but I just care about it more, which is like the best places to get a fun drink at Disney. So Mouselets will also get a drink, but this is just something that I feel like I am more interested in.
Not
My
anymore.
Well, not right now, but generally, my number one is definitely very obvious. It is Trader Sam's. Trader Sam's it's like hyped for a reason. It's so fun. Even we like to go even if we don't want to get a drink, even if we're just getting like a non-alcoholic drink. The vibe in there is really cool. And I will say it makes me very excited for Beacon Barrel because while nothing will compare to Trader Sam's, I have heard that Beacon Barrel has some like similar elements to it, which I think is very fun.
I am not much of a drinker, really. I'm just like, don't love the way alcohol makes me feel. But I drink at Trader Sam's because it is just like, it's a fun, it's a vibe. I like their drinks. Like the whole vibe is fun. I feel like it's one of the few places that I like don't always get a mocktail at. Just because it's like, it's really fun.
It's so fun.
It's so fun.
Another
And they do have
lounge,
good mocktails too, though.
Yes. Another lounge that I really like is the Enchanted Rose Lounge at Grand Floridian. I
would
think
not
they have
be on my list.
Really? They have such fun, unique drinks.
I feel like they don't, and I feel like those drinks are so expensive.
I'm not worried about the price. I'm not thinking about the price here. I'm just thinking about the funness. The funness.
I feel like they have maybe one drink that we like.
No, they have like a really extensive menu.
They have like 5 cocktails.
No, they have this whole like build your own thing. Okay. Anyways,
I
really
the
like
same place, the second floor of Grand Floridian, Enchanted Rose.
I really like Enchanted Rose. That's another one of my favorites. A lot of the other lounges around are just all like good, but nothing particularly noteworthy. And my other favorite drink is at Epcot. There's lots of good ones, but I personally like to do something called the wine walk, where you can get 2 1.5 ounce pours. So they're very small. I think it's 1.5 ounce.
It's only
pours.
2? I thought there were 3.
No, it's 2 in 3 different countries.
Oh.
So you're ultimately getting 6 1.5 ounce pours.
What's a standard glass of wine even?
5 ounces.
Oh.
So it's small.
Tiny.
But you get to taste 6 different wines 2 in France, 2 in Italy, 2 in Germany. I think it's 1.5 ounce pours. Might be 3 ounces. That seems too high. It must be 1.5. Anyways, that's one of my favorites. I've done that for years and years and years. And I just like getting to sample the different wines that way because wine is my personal favorite drink.
Something didn't make your list and I'm shocked about it.
What?
The Martha's Vineyard Lounge?
Oh my God, guys.
We've been when we stay at a resort, and I encourage you to do the same. If you stay at a Disney resort, check out like the restaurants and the bars and lounges there, because a lot of times you won't like pop over to that place necessarily if you're in the parks, but if you're staying there, you really should try it out. So we stayed last December at the Yacht Club. Oh, no, this was actually August of 2023. August of 2023, we stayed at the Beach Club and we wanted to try out the lounge. There was a lounge there called the Martha's Vineyard Lounge. We thought, fun. It literally, and I'm dead serious, it looked like the theming of a nursing home, the nursing home that our grandma was in. And this is an insult because I actually have a strong hot take that I think nursing homes need to be much nicer in general, okay? Just like a thought. But anyway, it looked like a nursing home. The waitstaff was great. It has the worst vibe. The furniture is awful. It has like random televisions.
The vibe doesn't make any sense.
There is no vibe.
There's no vibe. There's no vibe.
It's awful. It's actually insane that it's a lounge at Disney. And the only reason I mentioned last year is because we just worked in there because it opened up at like 5 and we worked in there all day because it's not even open earlier. Terrible, terrible,
Nope.
terrible, terrible, terrible.
Okay, so that is a sort of look at things that we each care about that the other doesn't. And now we're going to get into our special segment, which today is going to be answering listener questions. So if you're part of our Peach Crew or our Pit Crew on Patreon, you get access to a bunch of different things, but one of them is a place to ask us listener questions. And we haven't answered those listener questions in a few weeks now. So we're going to go through and answer some of the new ones that have come in. And I sort of broke them out into like some different themes that people had. So the first theme is questions about the parties. So Jess asked, what are the best tips for a successful first time Vicky's Not So Scary Halloween party goer? I'm a very frequent traveler to Disney. I have an annual pass, but it's my first time going to the party this year. Okay, Mouse2 and I think will have the exact same advice on this, but feel free to chime in, which is that you should prioritize the party exclusive activities, but not trick or treating. Do you agree?
I do agree, unless this person loves candy and wants to bring a ton of candy home. But
But you can do it at the end of like the trick or treat lines at the end of the night if you really do want candy are so short. You can just like fling through and get some candy.
you can pop in to like 3 if you don't prioritize it at all and get like literally like 15 pieces of candy, which is honestly a ton of candy.
You also can just loop around the same line multiple times if like you just really want candy. But remember that it's candy that you could go buy at your local CVS. It's really not worth your time and your money. Instead, prioritize the party exclusive things, try and stagger them out a little bit. But like the fireworks, the Sanderson Sisters Halloween stage show, the parade is amazing, stuff like that.
That's a good. I have no differences. Me and Mouse want to do the parties the exact same way, which brings me to my question. Do you have any tips for the Christmas party? Going in November, I don't have a clue to where to start. This is submitted by Mary. So I would say, so the Christmas party's version of trick or treating is cookies and like a drink. I actually would say kind of do prioritize these. I think these are really, really fun. And so I feel like for the Christmas party, kind of the order that we go in, I wonder if you'll feel the same way, is we'll definitely try to rank the things we want to do. Like we know we want to see the parade. The parade is really fun. We know we want to see it Snope on Main Street. We love the stage show. The like cell phone selfie song. We actually
It's
like
actually so good.
it's a bop. It's like a bop. But we really like those things. And then we also want to do some of the like ride overlays. The biggest thing that we don't do that you might want to do, Mary, is you might want to meet some of the rare characters. And that's the same thing with the Halloween party. Jess, who asked that. If you want to meet like Jack Skellington and Sally, or is he at the Christmas party? As
Probably.
Sandy Claus?
Yeah.
There's sometimes really long lines for those characters. If you want to prioritize those, do them really late or do them really early. We don't really do the characters that much. So like that's one thing we don't do. But I feel like with the Christmas party and any party you go through, prepare yourself. What do you want to do? What stage show are you going to see? What parade are you going to see? Try to watch the parade right at the hub of Main Street. That way you can catch the stage show like right after or right before.
Yeah, try and if you can make it, go to the later parade, go to a later stage show. Those are going to be a lot less crowded. It's going to be more crowded in the beginning. If you want party exclusive food, do that earlier in the night. They don't serve it all night long. We learned that on our last Halloween party. We did not know that.
We didn't get almost any food. I will say also, just like a plug, if you are looking, just want an itinerary handed to you, Undercover Tourist does have really, really good itineraries for the Halloween party and the Christmas party that you can basically go and just take their itinerary and follow it and have a great time. And they basically can get like everything done for you. So something to keep in mind if you're just like overwhelmed at the thought of trying to plan it yourself, those itineraries are really good.
Okay, our next section of questions is about like DVC and annual pass holder stuff. So this is from Peachlet8. And they said, you guys made an awesome episode on DVC. I think they're referring to a YouTube video we did about DVC. Can you make an episode or podcast segment discussing if it's worth getting an annual pass? Like how many times you go a year? How often do you get discounts on resort, rooms, food, etc.? My partner and I keep discussing whether to get them and whether it's worth it and would love to hear your thoughts. So the thing with annual passes, if you do not live in the state of Florida, is that there are 4 tiers of annual passes, but if you don't live in Florida, you can only get the top tier. It's called the Incredipass. So I'm going to assume that you would be getting the Incredipass. If you live in the state of Florida, it's like probably worth it for you to get an annual pass if you're considering it. But as an out-of-stater, the typical thing, and I did just recheck this morning, is that you need to be going more than like 11 or 12 days in a year
I'm
for the
surprised it's
annual
still that.
pass.
I thought it'd be like 14 or
I
15.
know, but think about how much the ticket
I
prices
guess
have gone
tickets have
up.
gone up too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, in order to break even, it depends on the time of year you're going and how many consecutive days the trip is, but that's kind of like the general rule of thumb. Then with an annual pass, you do get a lot of discounts. So we frequently rent a car. Granted, if you're staying on property, you get free parking at the parks anyways. But back when we used to stay off property, getting free parking is huge
It's so, so
because
nice.
it is really
It's like
expensive these
30
days.
bucks a day. So
Yep.
that's a big one. Restaurants, you have a discount there. You have a discount for merch. Restaurants are 10, merch is 20.
Yeah, typically. It's only sit down restaurants also. It's not like quick
Yeah.
service.
I don't
And
really
then
feel like we put those into play in terms of like, is it worth it? I think that
no,
would be very hard to like spec
quantify.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you also there are often reduced rates on resorts, but it's often like there will be like an offer for everybody that's like 25% off resort rooms, and then annual pass holders get like 30% off select rooms only. Like it's not always like a huge thing. But yeah, like Mouselets said, we mainly focus on covering the cost of the ticket personally. And then the other things are more like added bonuses. If you know that you're going to do a sit down meal every day or something, you could probably try and factor that in, but it just is a lot more variable.
I feel like in a way as well, like it is a splurge. And so for us, we both have had annual passes for like 6, 7 years now, 7, 8 years, whatever. Mouselet C got an annual pass, I think in 2021, maybe because he was going so many times. It might have been the year after. I think it was though. Maybe it's 22. But Mouselet A, she used to only come kind of once per year. So for a while, we're like, it doesn't really make sense. But last year, we had a trip in February, and then she was going for Mouselet One's bachelorette party, and then we had another trip later, so we got it for her. And what's really nice about it, and she actually does use it like enough now, but it's nice because it just gives you the flexibility to be like, hey, you know what, like next month there's a deal and like we can get cheap flights, like should we fly down for a couple days? And it gives you that flexibility. It makes you just go more basically. But I feel like that is a nice part of it.
It also like it includes a park hopper, so you don't have to be so stringent about like what days are we doing what. You can just kind of be like, oh, we'll pop in. If you fly down in the morning, you can be like, yeah, we'll go to the park in the afternoon. That piece is really nice. I will say, in terms of thinking about the discounts, remember that if you and your partner or family member or something get the annual pass, pretty much only one person in the party needs to have an annual pass to get the discounts.
Yeah.
So like multiple people having it, you sort of lose the discount thing for the other person unless that person is going without you a lot.
I would say don't even include that discount thing in your calc.
Yeah.
It's just if you're going for like 13, 14 days in a year, right? You're going on multiple trips, it does make sense. If you're going for multiple short trips, like 3, 4 day trips, it probably makes sense. If you're going for like
If
one
not,
long
don't get it.
10-day trip, you might not even go to the parks every day. Yeah. Okay, well, this is kind of a good connection to the next question because this is submitted by John, and Haley also had a similar question. So John's question was, now that you've been DVC members for a few years, would you do it again? Haley's was, what do you love about DVC? Your spreadsheet helped convince my husband that we could afford it. LOL. So the reason I bring this up as relates to annual passes is that because we own DVC, although we are out of state, we are able to have the next tier down of annual passes, which is called the Sorcerer Pass. It is actually like $400 or $500 less expensive for the year. It's a
It's huge savings for us.
massive bonus. And so I have it, Mouselet 1 has it, Mouselet C has it, Mouselet A have it. So 4 of us have it. So we're saving, but like we are saving like $2,000 almost, $1,500 to $2,000 a year alone just from that. So when we're talking about DVC and like the affordability, it's actually crazy because just those savings alone, if we had annual passes for the next like blank amount of time, which like right now that seems like is what's going to happen, we would make our money back on DVC just from savings alone of those passes if things stayed the same with like Sorcerer Pass and Credit Pass. But we've been DVC for a few years. If you don't know, we joined DVC kind of on a whim.
On a really crazy whim. We'll have to tell that story sometime.
We will, but we own at the Grand Floridian. That's what was sold at the time. I wish we owned at Wilderness Lodge, but I know someone loves owning at the Grand. So yes, we would do it again. We did do it again because we bought more points. Mouselet 1 is, I don't know why you gave this question to me. Mouselet 1 is much more in tune to the DVC piece of it. Actually, all of it, basically. But would I do it again? In all honesty, with DVC, Mouselets, the Mouselets brand and company, you know, from the income we make from social media and all these things, that was what paid for DVC for us. If I was using my own money, no, I would not buy it. I would rent DVC points from David's Vacation Club Rentals because it's a really, really good deal. And we do that for a lot of things. So no, I would not probably, but I'm a lot more like thrifty,
Here's when yes. Okay. Mouselet is
Why
very
did you
frugal.
give this question to me?
Okay. Mouselet, because I was just like alternating them. Mouselet is very frugal. Here's when DVC makes sense. If you know that you will be going to Disney once a year, maybe every other year, but really once a year is what you should do. And you are going to stay deluxe. That is why it doesn't make sense for Mouselet 2, because if Mouselet 2 was paying for herself, she would not be staying deluxe. But if you knew that you were going, not
Maybe.
every time though,
No,
you would not.
every time.
No. If you're going to be staying deluxe, DVC makes financial sense. Again, we have an old YouTube video about it. I can't speak to how good the YouTube video is or isn't, but there's a spreadsheet linked in there that you can use to like do some of the calculations. But if that is where you save money, if you are going not every year, if you're staying moderate, if you're staying value, it's absolutely not going to save you money. But
It's actually,
go ahead.
I was going to say, it's actually not worth it for one other major reason too, which is if you finance it through Disney, it is like, what is it, 10% interest or
It's
something?
10% interest, yeah.
It's so we paid in full. We like, and that was
We
what
paid
made
cash.
it. We paid cash, yeah, full cash of like the dollar, whatever, like our points amount was. If you finance it, I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of people who do finance it, and that financial decision might have made sense for you. But generally speaking, if you finance it, it's not going to make as much sense, or it's going to make way less sense for people.
Yes. The
So.
savings make sense if you're paying cash. You want to go to Disney every year, and when you go to Disney, you want to stay deluxe.
In a deluxe villa that has 1, 2, 3 bedrooms, even.
I mean, the studio is still worth it, but like we stay in a 2-bedroom villa at the Grand Floridian with our family. That would be $2,000 a night.
Thousands a
I
night.
actually literally don't even know how much it would cost. It would be completely unaffordable. We could never afford it. However, with DVC, we can afford it over those years because that's what we want to do. We want to go once a year with our family in that villa. That is when it makes sense. I would 100% do it again for the situation that we are in. However,
Agreed.
I think that you need to be very specific and know what you're doing and know if it makes sense for you.
Because you can rent DVC points and get to stay in those resorts, and you're saving a lot of money. I have never priced out the fact that if like we rented DVC points at the current rates at the Grand Floridian, you know, for 40 years, would it, like, I don't know that amount. I like DVC has a lot of other perks for us, specifically the annual passes. Is we are saving, I mean, again, over 40 years, like hypothetically, we could be saving so much money. The one other thing that people say to us is, well, like people on like TikTok and stuff, they're like, imagine if you took that money that you put into DVC and instead of paying DVC, you invested it for 40 years. You'd have like millions of dollars. And like, sure, but we would have taken 0 Disney vacations, and we would never have invested that money like that, because this money that was for something fun. Like, life isn't just about saving money. Life is about doing something fun. So if it makes financial sense, sure, but it's a certain situation for it to make financial sense. So we would do it again, but I would never do it on my own because
Mouselets 2 would not stay deluxe once a year. She would not pay. She would not.
I would rent DVC points at probably Old Key West.
Yeah, sure. I mean, in that case, then maybe you could buy DVC, but it just wouldn't make sense for you and your mindset with money.
I would agree.
Okay. Next up is tips. So we got a bunch of questions about like various tips. So one of these is from Emily. She said, any must-dos when you're staying in the boardwalk area. We're staying there for the first time in 2026. This is one of the best places to stay if you want like non-park things to do. I'll let Mouselets and I go back and forth on stuff to do, but one of them is definitely enjoy like the actual boardwalk at night. They have like Streetmosphere that comes out and does little like juggling shows, magic shows. They just pop up and it's such a vibe. It's so much fun.
I would say another kind of like thing to do that's a vibe, you can rent Surrey bikes. We've done it at Port Orleans. We've never done it on the boardwalk, but that is so fun. They have other activities, like we watched a movie, Stitch's Great Escape. No, Stitch. What's that movie called? Stitch?
Lilo and Stitch.
Lilo and Stitch. Lilo and Stitch we watched because it was the movie that happened to be playing. But that's really fun. Like, it's just like a vibe during the afternoon. But for me, my favorite time is the morning on the boardwalk, because you can go to the Boardwalk Bakery, you can go to Cake Bake Shop and get a coffee and a treat, which is like our favorite thing to do. It's a vibe. It's just like a vibe.
It's really fun to walk around, like go walk over to Yacht and Beach Club and just like check them out. It's so fun. You can do the whole, Yeah, you can do the whole walking loop over around Toast One and Dolphin. Also, it's just a beautiful, beautiful place. There's so much to explore. There's lounges at each of the resorts. One of them is Martha's Vineyard. Meh, maybe skip that one. But I did really like the one at the Yacht Club. You didn't really go to that one, but I liked that one.
I didn't go to that one specifically. I went to bed early because you were all snoring so loudly that I had to fall asleep before that. They also have Abracadabra. They have Trattoria Al Forno, which is like a Italian restaurant, which is really good. They used to have Jelly Rolls, but that closed. We went to we went to Jelly Rolls, and we went to the Atlantic Dance Hall for Mouselet One's Bachelorette. A story for another day. We'll do a deep dive on the Bachelorette and stuff. It was interesting, but it's fun at certain times.
It's a certain vibe. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then you can take the friendship boats.
Yeah.
Which is
It's
like
fun. We
transportation.
love the boardwalk. We're probably staying at the boardwalk. Me, Mouselet, for my 30th birthday. Just exciting.
I will be having a baby like on Mouselet's 30th birthday.
Like literally the baby might be coming then.
I won't be.
Okay, next up from Alessandra. If you had a 3-day non-park hopper ticket for 3 parks, which would you choose? Okay, right now, as much as it pains me to say it,
The answer is obvious.
the answer is obvious right now, and things might change depending when you're going. But if you're going in the next, honestly, year-ish or so, unfortunately, Animal Kingdom is a skip because quite literally, it closes so early. Show up there
There's
at
just
night
not
and
that
there's
much to
not a
do.
boo thing to do because all of the animal walkthroughs are closed, all the character things, there's not a lot to do. There's just not a lot to do with that park right now. They're going to be adding so much more. I'm so excited for what they're doing. They need to do even more than they're already planning on doing, honestly. But there's no nighttime show. There's not enough to do. It is a half-day park right now, and
It's a
we
bummer,
know
but
that
it is.
'cause we went to there at night and
There was
just
nothing to
kind
do.
of sucked their thumb. So I would say Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and Epcot.
Okay. Will I have a good answer to this question? I don't know, but I wanted to address it. It's from Jennifer. Phantasmic question. I've been trying to book a Phantasmic dining package for October 15th since our 60-day window opened, and there's literally nothing, not even for a party of one. Am I missing something, or are they just that popular that they sell out within the first minute? I'm known for being good at hard to get reservations too, and I need some pro guidance. Okay, so there can be a few things happening here. Number one, or the main one I would say, is that they aren't dropping them right at 60 days. That happened to us with Beacon Barrel. It just was nothing. And then they drop them, stagger them out later, which is weird. And I don't really know exactly why this occurs, but that is a thing that happens sometimes. The other one is that unfortunately bots snap up reservations and yeah,
Bots?
yes, bots.
What? Bots?
Yes, bots.
Who's bots? What are they doing with them? I don't think that's true.
Yeah, it is the alert bots. They will go alert and stuff. I don't know.
Oh, alert bots.
Bots. Okay.
They're not
and so
snatching them, though. They're notifying people who then snatch them before you, Jennifer, because they are subscribed to some alert bot. They're not
Yeah.
taking the reservations.
It does seem weird that would happen, literally if you're 60 days out. But sometimes for super popular stuff, it just doesn't ever open. And you have to keep checking back.
And sometimes they don't open them right away. And sometimes you have to call, and that's not guaranteed. But sometimes if you do call, it's probably closer to your trip now. But sometimes if you do call around then they can book something on the phone for you. But not always. That's not a guarantee.
But yeah, that's a bummer. And I don't have great advice.
If anyone else has advice, drop it in the comments of YouTube. If you've had this experience, help Jennifer out. I feel like, or Instagram, wherever. I feel like someone has had to have helped. Okay. This is a question from Emily. Can you walk us through the steps of the owner's locker? How do you request it? Is it dropped off at your room or luggage service? How do you get it returned at the end of your trip? I'm going 3 times in 2026, so I think it might be a great option for us. I think I talked about this last episode that what the owner's locker is, which is that it's basically a crate of all of our stuff that we brought down to Disney, and a company called Owner's Locker delivers it to and from our resort for us and stores it for us. It is actually, truly, I cannot imagine that we went to Disney without it because it just has a bunch of stuff of ours. I always go to toiletries, shampoo, conditioner, and stuff, but it has I have a pair of Crocs, I have a swim shirt, I have goggles, we have oatmeal. Tupperware containers, Ziploc bags, extra chargers, hair curler,
Rain stuff,
sun stuff, fans. I have a change of clothes just in case my flight something ever happens. It's so convenient. So the way that it works is that before we go down for the trip, the day before, do it in advance as much as you want.
Do it more in advance than that. We just always do it the day before.
Yeah, do it when you're going down. Just do it in advance. We will specifically do it right before, but that's just, there's no point. But they're so prompt, so it's actually a testament to their business model. But you can just basically reserve it online and say hey, here's when I'm coming and they'll drop it off at the luggage room of your hotel. They do Disney hotels and they also do like hundreds of other hotels kind of in the greater area. They even do Airbnbs, I think. And then when you arrive, you can go get it from Bell Services if you want, or you can go to your room and call Bell Services and they will bring it to your room for you, which is so convenient. And then you can keep it in your room the whole time. And then when you're leaving, you can drop it at Bell Services yourself, or you can call Bell Services. We have two. They're very heavy. They're kind of like, there's just kind of a lot of stuff in there for us. We certainly could, and we have carried them. But if your room is kind of far away, just call Bell Services. They have like a cart way faster.
They have
and
like a
typically,
hand truck that they bring them into. It's
and
very
you can
easy.
just have like a small tip usually. Like that's what we try to do. Other questions? I don't know if you asked how much it costs, but ours is like $15 to $20 a month, and we have free delivery. So it is so worth it for us. It is so, so, so convenient. And yeah, if you're going 3 times in 2026, it's probably a good option for you. Owner's Locker is really good for people who go more than once per year, but more than twice per year, I think, is like when it really probably starts to get its value.
Yep. Okay, this last one, I want to answer this separately because I want to do a segment on it. But one of our Peach and Pit crew member, Michelle, it's her 8-year-old daughter, Emma, who asked this. And she said, can you do a deep dive on Pandora and Animal Kingdom and how that was decided? And so, Emma, I just want to let you know that I did not forget about your question. And we will be giving you a deep dive in an upcoming episode.
Fine.
Okay, now we're going to move on to our Pit and Peach of the week. Should I start with my pet?
Sure.
So, guys, as you may know, I am pregnant, and a lot of people get very sick, morning sickness in their first trimester. I very luckily only threw up one time. Okay, this is about throw up. So if you don't like to hear that, fast forward.
Sorry.
I only threw up.
Wait, can I fast forward?
I only threw up one time in my first trimester. Okay, so and then I've been out of my first trimester. So I was like, great. Okay, I was at an important work party on a rooftop in New York City last week. It was an anniversary for my company. It was like a big deal, fancy party. And I'm up there and I was like, wow, I'm not feeling well. I wonder if there's a bathroom on this roof. Find the bathroom, threw up a bunch of times in the bathroom. And then I threw up a bunch of times the next day too. It was like a 24-hour thing. It wasn't a bug. It definitely was just related to being pregnant.
Very gross, very disgusting.
But it was a pit. I didn't need to throw up at that important party and then have to go back out and like socialize with my coworkers.
That sucks. That's a big pit. I was trying to think of my pit. Initially, my pit was that
and
yesterday.
This is what it says in the notes. So tired yesterday. That's your pit. Mine was that I threw up at a party.
I changed my pit. I was going to say initially that I was really tired yesterday at like 3 p.m. I got so tired. I had a terrible workout. No, actually, my pit was this morning. I felt hideous. I like was angry. I just woke up and I was like, I felt gross. I felt bloated. My hair looked awful. And I was in a absolutely horrendous mood. I go to say goodbye to Mouselets because I was leaving the house like I leave the house way, way, way before she even like wakes up. And I would say goodbye to Mouselets and she instantly clocked somehow that I was like in the literal most awful mood. She said, are you okay? And I said, no, I'm having a horrible morning. Then it turned around. I felt fine. On my
so you were
drive.
fine.
but the specific, like I was trying to, it's behind me somewhere. I was trying to get a freaking claw clip into my hair and it just was not behaving. I was getting so angry. Terrible morning.
Wow.
That was
okay.
Tuesday. Bad Tuesday morning, but it really turned around. And after that, I had actually a great day. I felt great at the gym. Left work a little later than I wanted to, but overall, good.
Moving on to the peach. We both have
James.
the same peach, which is the Big E.
The Big E. The Big E.
We already talked about, but that was really fun. We got to go with Mama Mouselet and Mouselet C. And we
It
love
was
the
fun.
Big E.
We got a lunch, but good.
Oh.
Whoa.
What?
Huh? What? We got a bunch of good stuff. It was fun to just spend time there. We had a bunch of good food. It's not that far from where we grew up. So like in Connecticut, we could just pop up there and it was fun. And we didn't know if we'd be able to squeeze it in and we did.
Okay. As always, we're going to wrap up with our fact of the day. Why don't you go first? Because I have to think of one.
Okay, as always, and yet you don't have one. So my fact, and I'm going to keep this super short, is about the utilidors because I did a full deep dive on YouTube about this. So every Monday we do deep dives. We alternate every other week, and we do a deep dive on some like cool Disney topic. Mine this week was about the utilidors. If you like this podcast, you might like our deep dives. The utilidors are like the underground tunnels at Magic Kingdom. My fact for you is the fact that they're not actually underground. They are on the first floor because in Florida, the water table is so high that you can't really dig a basement. There would be like drainage, like there'd be water flooding issues, basically. And so when they were excavating the Seven Seas Lagoon, which is the lake by Magic Kingdom, Grand Floridian, like that lake, which is man-made, obviously, they took all of that extra earth and they built up the plot of land for Magic Kingdom about 15 feet high. And then the utilidors are underneath that. So the utilidors are actually on like the first floor, and the second floor is where you're walking around. So you're walking on the roof of the utilidors. They're not actually tunnels, although they are like underground. So that's my fact. If you want to learn more, go watch my utilidors deep dive on YouTube.
Okay, I'll do a shout out to one of the YouTube deep dives I did as well, which was about the Haunted Mansion in honor of spooky season coming up. There is like so much that goes into the Haunted Mansion, and the Haunted Mansion went through about 1,000,000 iterations before it became what it is today. But one of the ones that I thought was most interesting is that there was a brief period of time when they were going to make it a water ride, like a pirate's ride, like a bloodthirsty pirate in the
I don't know if I knew
Louisiana
that.
Bayou. I guess you
Oh,
didn't
I
watch
did.
my
Louisiana
video.
Bayou. I did know that.
In the Louisiana Bayou, because it was going to be a part of New Orleans Square in Disneyland. And so it was going to have this kind of whole tie to the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Because they hadn't invented the Omni Mover, right? Yeah, they invented it for Haunted Mansion.
Yes, they had not invented it yet. And they were trying to figure out what they were going to do. It was going to be a walkthrough. And it was briefly going to be a boat ride.
Very cool. So yeah, if you liked those facts, you probably will like our Mouselets Monday deep dives. If you like this podcast, wherever you're listening, Apple, Spotify, give us 5-star rating if you like it. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment if you want. And then, of course, we have our Patreon with our Pit and Peach crew. That gives you extended cuts of our episodes where we just chat a little bit more about our lives and things going on at the beginning, as well as other perks like close friends, quarterly bonus episodes, the opportunity to ask questions. So lots of things going on for the Mouselets. Next week, we'll be talking all about our cruise. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye.
Bye.